Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prosperity Through Multifamily Real Estate Investing Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Cody Laughlin, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. John Beatty. John, how you doing,
Hello,
buddy?
I'm well. It's a rainy Friday after Thanksgiving. We're full of turkey right now, and we've got a great guest with us today. Erin's on, and I'm really excited about this because we were just joking before the show that this is a family show. And in fact, we've got Erin Hudson's with us, mother of five, real estate investor, owns a chiropractic services company in California. So extremely busy, but she's got the time to build this real estate empire. And so I'm really excited to get into that story with her. So quick summary on the real estate side. She's done a single family. She's acquired a bunch of single family homes. Currently owns over 200 units in acquisitions and dispositions, and GP and some projects, actually one in Knoxville and one in Atlanta. So she's got a great track record. We're glad, Erin, that you're on today to share kind of your story and how you got where you're at and how you manage everything in your life. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks so much. Listen, I got to meet y'all just a few bits back, and it sounds like you guys are having some massive success in the space, and it's always fun to link arms with people that are doing stuff. So thanks so much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on, Erin. And I got to tell you, like, we think we're busy, but then when we read your story and your bio, we're like, yeah, this is a walk in the park compared to what you got. I don't know how you can fit anything else in your schedules.
Well, thank the Lord, or thank God that the Lord gives grace. I've got 5 beautiful, lovely children at home, and I need all the help I can get. I've got in-laws and parents and so on and so forth. So it really takes an army to raise kids, and thank goodness for all of them, for sure.
Amen to that. We can attest to that. John's got 2, I've got 3, and you've got 5. So the more help
that's
you need.
Next
sure.
5 is next level. Like I'm like, ooh, I'm busy with 2, but I'm not really.
After 3, it's all the same.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, you've got to be an expert at systems in order to keep scaling up. So we'll definitely dive into that. But hey, again, glad to have you here. Really appreciate your time, and tell us a little bit more about your story, your background, and kind of how you got involved into the commercial real estate space.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm actually a doctor of chiropractic and had 2 practices in Southern California. And I will tell you, along the way, or at least I've always had a desire to be involved in real estate. And with that being said, coming from California, the cost there is just ridiculous to invest in properties. And it's almost as if you have to pay someone to live in your property in California. And I always thought in my head that you had to be uber wealthy to buy real estate investments and take part in them, right? And it wasn't until 2015 I actually got a taste and an opportunity and a way to invest in Indianapolis, Indiana, and took the leap of faith and jumped into the market there and was buying properties for roughly $40,000, and they were renting for $600 a month. And that's really where I started. With that being said, I was all about finding creative ways to acquire, because I certainly didn't have deep pockets at that point. And I will tell you, one thing about me is I'm extremely resourceful. And so if I were to be brutally honest with you, here is how the first conversation went down, trying to figure out, I had heard of a double close, but wasn't quite sure how it worked. And I'll never forget getting on the phone with a company in Indianapolis saying, "Hey, Betty, I heard there's something called a double close in Indianapolis. And I am so sorry to bother you today, but is there any chance you could just explain to me how that works?" And sweet little Betty told me how it worked. And then I went and put my magic to work and tried to pretend like I knew what I was doing. And I figured it out in a beautiful way and was able to invest in real estate without using my own money. And so that's kind of how it started.
This is one of my favorite books is called The Wealthy Gardener, and I just bring this up because you've been in the chiropractic services business. You're a doctor of chiropractor, chiropractic. But John Safork, have you read this book? He was a chiropractor and a real estate investor, and that's like the basis of his book.
What's the name of it again?
The Wealthy Gardener.
I want to read it.
Check it out. It's one of my favorites. But he was a chiropractor, but in the side, in the shadows, he was doing his real estate, building his real estate empire on the side. So just wanted to bring that one to your attention because your story almost exactly matches his.
I love it. Well, hey, listen, it wouldn't have started if I didn't have this incredible coach who really taught me how to stop doing the $10 an hour jobs and delegating and bringing on other team members. And that's where the magic happened. And I think so many of us get caught up trying to control every facet of our business. And when I let go and relinquished all of that control and gave it to other individuals, it allowed for me to free up time in my schedule. And as I was working on patients, I went, holy smokes, I have so much more time in between patients because I wasn't having to do all that work. And that's where I really started to dig in on the real estate space. And fast forward, it went from learning how to do a double close to buying 4 homes on Craigslist, selling 3, keeping 1 for free. Fast forward, within 2 years, I had acquired 26 rental properties, of which 3 had mortgages on them. And 14 of those, in essence, I got for free with negotiations and proper structuring. And so it just really became an addiction and fun.
I love that. And Erin, I want to go back and highlight the first major point that I think you made already in the conversation is that you kind of just figured it out. Like you said, you went for it, you figured, you heard this term and you put yourself out there and went and just, like you said, you just did what it took to make it happen. And I think that's, a lot of people get stuck in that analysis paralysis, a lot of studying, a lot of education, and, that fear of taking the next step. And look, eventually you just got to put yourself out there and just go for it. You're going to make mistakes. Yes. And you're going to have a few gut punches here and there, but until you put yourself out there, you're really never really going to learn or really get that momentum. So I'm really glad that, you hit that home a second ago. I really respect that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So what's the story? Give us the story on this delegation piece that you just mentioned, and how you kind of started operating above your business, not in your business.
Yeah. So, well, the truth is sometimes you have to have the hard knocks. I was working with a business coach who was, my gosh, $1,000 an hour to coach with her. And it was all about really efficiently running my business and helping it to scale. Because at the time I had 2 wellness centers and 30 team members that I was working with. And so she said, listen, until you delegate and you hire on 10 crew members, we're not coaching anymore. And so for me, that was like, it's either you follow directions or get off the ship because you're not sailing with me any longer, right? And so it was the most frustrating thing, but the biggest game changer for me is having her really call me out and where my weakness lies. And once I did that, honestly, as I said, everything that I was trying to do before, I no longer had to do. And in turn, that freed up so much of my time to the tune as I shared, I started to really delve into real estate. Well, it's a beautiful thing what happened, because along the way, as I started to acquire those rental properties, within 6 months, I had tackled and taken down 12 of them. And all of a sudden people started to get wind, i.e. patients, doctors, friends, started to find out what we were doing. And it really snowballed to the tune of my husband coming from the mortgage industry saying, you know what, we need to create a turnkey company. And so did we know what that looked like? Heck no, we did not. But we got really, really resourceful. And so a couple of things happened. I had reached out to my property manager and I said, listen, we're getting ready to launch something big. And really, I didn't even know how big it was. It was small, but I wanted to create a really cool vision, right? So I had to create this vision of how big we were going to go. And I had no idea what it looked like, but I believed in myself that I could, right? So what I did is I called up that property manager who had been managing our properties. And I said, look, I'm getting ready to bring on a whole lot of investors that are going to buy properties. And I got to ensure that you're going to take as good care of them as you do of me, because they are my family, right? And so I said, as long as you take care of my people, I'm going to continue to grow your business like you've never seen before. And so that was the beginning of it. So check this out. He who solves the largest problem is the winner, right? So think about this. There's a lot of wholesalers out there, right? And Indianapolis, you're talking about a $40,000 property, cheap, right? So you could be the weak suck I should not say that. Rewind that, take that part out. You could be the person that wholesales it or daisy chains it for $2,000, or you could be the person that makes the $10,000 because you just solved a massive problem. So what's the massive problem? Does somebody want to buy a wholesale deal from you, or would somebody rather buy a property from you, have it rent ready, have a tenant in place, and have a property management all set up so that it can be a cash flowing asset and they make money day one and they don't have to fly out to Indianapolis to look at the property? I don't know. You tell me.
That's an easy one.
Yep.
I always pick the latter.
Right. So
we're a society of convenience. You solved 5 different problems instead of one.
Says the chiropractor who has no clue how to do a double close. Like, I don't want to hear anything. I got 5 kids. Whoever is listening to this, listen. If you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to do it. I had 5 kids, 30 headaches, 2 practices. What? 26 rental properties in 2 years? Are you freaking kidding me? To the tune of figuring out how to scale that turnkey company that wasn't even really a turnkey company. We didn't even have a doggone website, yet we did 230 acquisitions and dispositions in 3 years. Are you kidding me? Crazy.
That is crazy. We love it. So, and we love your passion too. And I'd like to bring this up real quick. Your energy is clearly infectious, and I like how you're setting the vision here. Even though you didn't know exactly where you're going, you brought the vision, you brought the passion, and that really sets a strong tone to whoever you're talking about. And by the way, there are professionals out there that can help you solve the problems and educate you on what double closes are. So, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room by any means.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head earlier. It's like, it's being resourceful, right? Like, you don't have to be the expert. You just have to know who to go to find it. Exactly. It's everything that we've like we're at 10 minutes into the show, and you've kind of summed up just exactly what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur throughout this journey, right? I mean, getting out there, putting yourself out there, figuring it out, delegating, being resourceful, and solving problems. And that's the pure definition of us as real estate entrepreneurs, right? I mean, it's just, and I just love it. And John, you said it correctly, man. I told you before the show, man, she's a powerhouse, man.
Yeah,
her energy is just love it. So, but anyway, so let's talk about, so you had this amazing 2-3 year run. You've started scaling this real estate business in between your practice and whatnot. How did you find yourself getting into the commercial space then, after kind of building on that momentum?
No, I super appreciate that. So I started doing the turnkey in 2016. In July of 2017, I got introduced to a event that was going on in regards to multifamily that was going to be happening in Orange County. I lived in Huntington Beach, California, and they were coming literally 10 minutes to my area. And I thought, I can't miss this. I got to go see what this is about. I would be lying if I didn't tell you that I thought buying apartments was for the multi-millionaires. But y'all, whoever's listening to that, this is so far from the truth.
Yep.
So beyond far from the truth. I sat in the front row with my arms crossed that night, and slowly those arms start to drop. I remember going to bed that night thinking, okay, I've been in the single family space, but do I really want to continue to land on Vermont and collect $50? Or do I want to land on Boardwalk with one roof and collect $5,000? So I couldn't sleep that night. I was like, oh my gosh, talk about leveling up. I got to figure this sucker out. And when I have something in my head, it certainly doesn't get put to rest.
Certainly. I love that. You gave me a good chuckle there, landing on Boardwalk versus Vermont. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
The economies of scale and all the professional services that are associated with multifamily versus single family blows it out of the water.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And listen, you're not alone in that thought process as well. I think most of us who were introduced to multifamily at whatever point in our journey probably thought the same thing you did. It's like, hey, there's some big corporation or the ultra rich or whatever. And as you get further in this space and you meet more great people like yourself, it's like you realize that, look, we're all everyday people. Everyday people are out there, and then, just doing the things that you've already mentioned, and just putting the pieces together and going to, make these things happen. So just love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So tell us about the first deal that you kind of found yourself into, and kind of a little bit about that experience, and we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. So a couple of things, man, if I can encourage your listeners right now, when I first got started in 2017, July of 2017, I was the chick that was trying to wear the hat to find the brokers, the chick that was trying to find the money, the chick that was you get the gist. I was trying to figure out every little piece, and I didn't have per se a partner or anybody that I was working with, right? So it was a little bit taxing, and I was still in practice and so on and so forth. I will tell you that there is no better way than to align with a quality team, partners that have your weakness as their greatest strength, right? But over and beyond that, I highly recommend that you make sure that you're linking up with the right team, because when you get linked up with them, you're in bed with them, right? As a partner. And you want to make sure that your values line up. You want to make sure that your goals and your aspirations are similar to theirs, right? And so I will tell you that first deal I did was not the best situation per se. And that's for a whole nother conversation.
With the partnership or the property? The
partnership. Yeah, it was just a little bit rougher. We just didn't see, anyways, it doesn't matter. But it was a 104 unit that I took down. It was roughly about a year that it took me to get to that point. I brought in a handful of investors, and it's been great. I would really just caution and just make sure that you're linking up with the right people. Fast forward, it was about a year and a half in, I ended up linking up with the most incredible team. It happened super organically. I was still feeling a little bit jaded from the first deal. And so I walked in a little bit leery, to the tune of, if you are going to link partners with anyone, I just recommend in general getting a background check on each of your partners. I'm dead serious. I'm sorry, but
I did it on Cody.
With these people, you want to make sure they're the right, real deal people. And if they put up a stink about their background check, that's enough of a precursor to say, am I linking with the right person or wrong person? So anyways, when I linked up with those individuals for our deal in January 2020, I straight up said, look, I love you, but we all got to do a background check. If you're okay with it, I just want to know who I'm linking up with. At that point, we did not link up as we just brought in our entities, right? And we purchased the first property together. Fast forward, we took down 5 properties together just with our own entities. And then the magic happened. We found out that we worked. So don't be so quick to get partnered up with your people. Test the waters. We worked together on 5 properties, and there was so much massive synergy that honestly, it was about halfway through the year, we decided that we were going to link up and come together as Quatro Capital, which has been the most incredible team that I could ever ask for. Just absolutely brilliant team that I get the pleasure of working with. So yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that sounds very similar, right, John? So yeah. John and I started testing the waters, if you will, but we joke, we tell everybody, we sat down, we had a lunch meeting, and great conversation, and that kind of started our journey. But then later I find out, he's like, yeah, dude, I already ran a background check on you. That's the only reason I met with you. And I'm like, what?
I was like, you're clear.
You're good. So I made it through the checkpoint, which is good. But to your point, that's exactly how we got started, right, John? I mean, we started, hey, looking at deals together, running ideas by one another, understanding underwriting philosophies and investing theses, and doing property tours together. And I think that was the moment where we really saw, okay, like, hey, listen, this is an alignment of interest. This is something that we definitely can do together. And because you're right, when we've seen this too, we've seen a lot of opportunities come available because of bad partnerships. And once you're in, they're not easy to get out.
Well, you hear it all the time, right? So we just want to caution our people that are just getting started, just to make sure, test the waters. Don't be urgently and overly excited to go create an LLC together and all of that, because you hear it left and right of parties and teams going awry for that. So just like what you said, Cody, it is important to just test the waters. I think I was just a little bit eager and excited, and I hate to say it, but almost desperate to want to get into a deal and do my first deal, right? So
that's right.
It's easy to fall in that trap too. It's very, very easy when you've been putting in so much work and time and effort, and you're getting out of that I'm a mentality.
Yeah.
and you just want to find something to validate all of your efforts. It's very easy. It's an easy trap to fall into. So you definitely have to be careful and be patient.
Sure. I mean,
And,
it's a phenomenal deal. There's nothing about the deal is awesome, right? It's just you want to link up and make sure you have the right partners for sure.
yeah.
So Quatro, let's learn a little bit more about Quatro, specifically the strengths. I'm really curious on, each of you has a specialization, I presume. So I'd like to hear a little bit of that story and how you synergize with one another.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'd like to just, if we can, just talk about how we met, because I think it's extremely powerful, and it really was such a blessing in disguise the way that it happened. If I can just touch on that really quick. So I was at an event where we were in front of 1,000 people, and I was getting awarded for closing on my first deal within 12 months type of thing, in front of 1,000 people at this RE Mentor event. And sure enough, they asked me, Erin, how did you celebrate the close of your first property? And I said, look, my heart is for the poor and those that literally can't help themselves, and our kids. And I take my kids and we travel to Nicaragua, Haiti, Belize, and we go and build orphanages and take care of those that need help. And sure enough, something came over me, and I said, as a matter of fact, I would love to build 2 more homes. They're $5,500 a piece if I could get 2 people to match me. And I don't know. I mean, I started to share my story. I got a little bit teary from the stage. And before you knew it, there was a gentleman in the back that raised his hand and said, I'm in for a home. And somebody from the front that said, I'm in for a home. And within 10 minutes, we had raised $55,000 to a great cause. Wow. And I remember going to bed that night saying, man, Lord, why'd you put that on my heart to put that out there? I could have got massively rejected by these people in front of me. And he, clear as day as night, said, those are the type of people that I want you to link arms with. People that are for a great cause, that love to give back, and their vision is the same, to change the world one person at a time. And fast forward, the gentleman that raised his hand first, he happens to be one of my partners in Quatro Capital. His name's Maurice Philogene, an amazing man grew up in Haiti, and his family's from Haiti, and is amazing, just has a philanthropic heart. And the second chick that stood up is another one of my partners in Quatro, and it just happened so organically. But that's what I mean when I say link with the same people that have the same cause and a heart to do good in the world and make it a better place. So wanted to touch on that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you on behalf of the community for that. It's something that's very powerful when you can give back and impact other lives and other communities outside of your own desires. And I think that's the one thing that I really, really love about this space. And the more people we network with and whatnot, it's just such an abundant mindset. And it's such a giving mindset. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's a few bad eggs out there. We say this all the time, but I mean, just in general, most of the people in this community, they're looking to give back and add value and just, lift that lending hand and it's just an awesome community to be a part of. So.
Awesome. Well, John, you asked me to touch on the partners and what are the strengths they bring. So I don't want to deviate. Well, first of all, I've got one partner that is a aeronautical engineer. So you can only imagine what he's great at, those spreadsheets and underwriting and so on and so forth. And then I've got another partner, Kim Wenland, who is project management, negotiated contracts for the Fortune 50 companies. So she is amazing at demographic research, underwriting as well, foreseeing the project from start to finish. She's amazing with that. I've also got another partner by the name of Tammy Sutton, who is a teacher and is phenomenal with the whole back end. And then I've got Maurice Philogene, who is jack of all trades. This gentleman owns restaurants and multifamily and single family, and he's been around the block for a long time. So everybody wears their own hat. Are our hats interchangeable? Absolutely. We all know how to do each other's job. Some are just more proficient at staying in their lane, right? And then myself, again, I love to negotiate. I love a deal. You can already tell from the story I just shared. I love people. I love investor relations, connecting. So that's really our team in a nutshell.
I was going to put
thanks for sharing.
I was going to put my chips on that with the investor relations for you, Erin. I was like, that's your lane.
Oh, awesome.
But You know, Erin, the first time we met, we had a conversation, and you mentioned something that I absolutely love, and I was hoping we could touch base on the show. And it's about getting started, getting that first deal done. And we talked a lot about, hey, do what it takes to get it done. You know, and whether that means, you know, finding however many partners or pulling together whatever resources, you know, that first deal, first couple of deals, you know, you're not in a position to be greedy, right? So you really got to do what it takes to get done. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that and your mindset on why you feel like that's important?
Yeah. So let me touch on a couple different things. You know, we get a lot of not pushback, but people that go, oh my gosh, you've got 5 people on your team. That's absolutely crazy, right? One would say. But when you don't have that mentality of, oh my gosh, I need a bigger percentage, how much money am I going to take back?
Yeah.
You've already won the game. Why? Because think about a football team. They have the quarterback, the lineman. You need all of those positions to effortlessly execute, right? And because we have such a solid team, we're able to make traction and fly higher together. We don't get caught up on, oh, the percentage and how much money is it going to push out? Hence, guess what? By the end of 2020, we'll have closed on 9 properties in 2020 alone. We could never do that with just 2 or maybe even 3 partners. That's just us. We can make greater strides together, and we don't have to get caught up on the minutia, right? So did I answer your question, Cody? I'm sorry, I deviated there, my friend.
Yeah, no. That's absolutely perfect. And I actually love the terminology you use there, effortlessly execute. And you're absolutely right. And I think, you know, this is something that even John and I have experienced in our own business, right? Where, you know, we linked up, we were combining efforts, we were tackling different aspects of the business. We recently met Brian several months ago, added him to our partnership, and it was just a third leg to the stool, if you will, and just another lane that we have focused on. And it's like things are just, it's so much easier the more help that you have. And so
this goes back to your first point, actually, that you made in the show. You know, kind of delegating responsibility, like you know, many hands, or what's the phrase?
Many hands makes light work.
There you go. That's it. Same principle here.
You know what? Leverage is probably my middle name. I absolutely love that. But I will tell you, if you'd like for me to share a game-changing move that Quatro made that has literally taken us to a whole nother level. You ready to hear it?
Please.
Yep.
So when we got started, coming from the same, we all came from RE Mentor, right? And so when we started that learning program out of Boston, they provide you, so to speak, a sponsor when you take down your deal, right? To get in the game, because we're not there, in order to get agency lending. Well, here's what happens. Just naturally, when you're at the disposal and somebody can, I don't want to say take advantage of you, but yeah, sure, take advantage of you because they're in that sponsor role. They ask for your right arm, your left leg, and your right toe, right? And you're like, shoot, man, I guess that's what you got to do to get in the game. Well, seriously, look no further, because Quatro has found a way to make it a fair way for an individual to come into the fold. And so what better way than to take care of our colleagues, right, that are in the space. And so we created something called an alliance partner. And what that is, our alliance partner, not everybody is an alliance partner, but if we have somebody that's in our space that's hungry, that's teachable, that has the attitude of no mountain too high, that wants to be a team player, and they're intelligent, we'll take them into the fold. And guess what? They go out and they find a deal and they bring it to us after they do their underwriting and they know our deal criteria. If they bring it to us and we scrutinize it and we go, oh my gosh, this is gold, let's go take it down. That alliance partner comes into the fold, gets a nice chunk of the acquisition fee, far more than we were ever given. And then we bring them into the fold as a general partner and we show them from A to Z how to work with a dominating, fearless team. And it's going to help equip them to have success, not only now, but in the future. So it's about the giver's game, right?
I love it.
The partners that we've worked with already, I wish I had a testimonial from them, because it's so game changing, to the tune of people having a hard time, just like I had for that first year, hitting my head against the wall. What if we could speed up that time frame that it takes for you to take down your first deal, because you have somebody that's walked the, you know, and has gotten there, right? And executed and had success. So that's what we're on a mission to do. And it's been incredible.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I think that's such a powerful, unique way to give back. And look, we're believers in mentorship programs. We're a part of one ourselves. But I mean, what a better way to learn firsthand than partnering with experienced people like yourself, utilizing your resources and whatnot. Obviously finding the alignment of interest, of course. But I mean, man, putting yourself out there, getting your first deal done, and partnering with you guys, and just learning firsthand. I mean, that's worth more than any mentorship program. That I could, but let's talk about that. So, if I'm new to the space, I'm just getting started, we've connected. How do we start the process of getting into the alliance partnership?
That's a good thing. Here, I want to touch on this as well for newbies that are out there. If you are new and you cannot find a deal, no matter what, if you can find a deal, what I highly recommend is for any individual out there to get in a deal. Go in and jump in as a limited partner and get a taste of what it's like to invest. So many people are looking for their first deal. Don't do what I did. It took me a year, right? And I was looking for my first deal. I wish somebody would have grabbed me by the hand and said, hey, Erin, listen, jump in a deal, find a good team to work with, and just jump in a deal as a limited partner so you can learn the ins and outs of what it looked like, what a quarterly payout looks like, what a monthly report of financials look like, and so on and so forth. And so had I done that, guess what? I probably would have walked around a little more confident getting in the space, right? Like, I've taken down a 100 unit, right? We want to equip our people and our colleagues to be able to get on a call with a broker and be able to say, hey, I just took down a 110 unit. We're looking to expand our footprint in this area. And then all of a sudden they become somebody versus, hey, I'm looking for a property with a 7 cap. And you know what I mean? You can tell when someone's new, but if they can walk around with a taller posture and feeling a little bit more confident entering the space, it's just going to get them locked and loaded for them to have success sooner. So anyone out there, I highly recommend, whether it's with Quatro, whether it's with these guys or somebody, make sure that you are properly aligned and get your butt in a deal.
I love it. Yeah. So, I started in the space as an investor, and I was like, man, this is a cool space because indeed, while I'm trying to find a deal with Cody and myself, we can also, I have an opportunity to invest in passive. I've been investing passively since 2016 and they're great deals. So even if you can't be in one as a general partnership, you can sure find one as a limited partner as well. So, and do your thorough due diligence, just like you would as a general partner, and just get in there. And then you can see it actually operating. It's a beautiful thing.
That's right, John. You are one smart dude.
That's why I keep them around,
That's awesome.
Well, John and I are big believers of this as well. We don't believe in recreating the wheel, and nor should you have to. There's enough successful people that have come before us that are doing great things that you can easily, not steal what they're doing, but, really just mimic what they're doing and apply it to your own business. And to your point, passive investing, great way to do that, and, John, what, 2,000 units you're invested in? I'm invested in, a little over 100 units. And it's a great way to just see what other experienced people are doing and learn from them firsthand. And like you said, apply it to your own business. And I absolutely love that. Big believer in that. When I first started, I didn't have that mindset. I was like, no, I just want to be active, want to focus on that. But when I got to be a passive investor at the same time and really understood the power of that, I encourage everybody to do the same. I agree with that.
That's it. So Erin, what's the vision? What is Quatro focusing on? What's the vision? So you gave me that passion earlier about your turnkey business. What's the vision going forward?
Yeah, well, this might sound crazy, but 12 million is what we're looking for with Quatro. That's our BHAG, our big, hairy,
very audacious
goal. Yes.
And and specifically, are you focusing all on multifamily, or what's the asset? What's the area?
Well, absolutely multifamily. We've got a couple things going on right now. Like I said, we're set to close our 9th deal here in 2020. We're going to start 2021 out big. We're already ready to close on 110 unit. We're pushing that out till January, which is exciting. But I'm getting ready to purchase 10 acres of land here in the hill country of Texas, and we are creating a container home park. Have you ever heard of those?
I've heard of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, that with a little mix of RV. So RV pads / container home park that we're doing. So it's multifaceted and running with that. We're excited.
I've got a fellow friend, Erin, that is in the container home space, and I need to get him connected with you. I think, there might be an opportunity versus synergy there.
Awesome.
He's got a couple opportunities around here in the Houston area that he's
Very
done.
cool.
So yeah,
That's awesome. I'll touch on that real quick in regards to that. We actually have an Airbnb that's in the hill country, and it's a really high amenity home, and it rents for $500 a night. So not everybody can afford that, right? And so we're situated on 5 acres. We're outside city limits. We're unrestricted. And so we've got area by the pond. And so I thought, you know what? I really want to put one of these tiny home container or tiny homes there. But when you look at that, you guys, the cost on those tiny homes is like $70,000, $80,000. What if you could put one of these containers that are kind of a phenomenon that people love to take these selfies, right? And so what if you could get one of those there for $30,000? Let's just do the math really quick.
Oh, it's a game changer.
John Beatty, you might be coming to the table. $125 a night. Follow me. This is nuts. $125 a night times 8 nights, which is just the weekends, is $1,000 a month times 12, $12,000 a month divided by 25,000 all in. You're talking about I think it's 48% return or something nutty like such.
Yeah, it's a winner.
So,
nice.
Yeah. So we're bringing
It's a winner, no doubt. Slam dunk.
So we've already got one that got delivered. It's awesome. And we have 2 more coming next week. So I'll have to send you pictures. It's
I'd love this. I'd love to see it. And by the way, this is, you're meeting a demand. My wife and I and our 2 children, we recently went to Central Texas because of, coronavirus, et cetera. We were going to Hawaii, but you're like, you know what? We're going to hill country, and we got a nice little home, and we stayed in there, and it was lovely. And heck, if it was like next to one of the creeks, we probably would stay in your container homes as well. It was packed. I mean, the demand is there, no doubt.
Yeah, it's unique. It's different, right? So we always got to be thinking outside of the box and be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I like, and your payback period's just a peach on that. So you don't have a lot of risk whatsoever, even if another coronavirus comes around.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not an expert by any means in the container space, but from what I do know, I mean, they're very sturdy structures as a box, right? So it's pretty easy to kind of do a development project with them because you're not doing all the framing and foundation, all that good stuff. Like they're pretty easy to plug and play and build a sizable community out of. So
plus you can always move them. You can move them wherever you want.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Fun stuff.
Well, and like you said, I think especially right now, it's just a tough market cycle. Obviously, I mean, I know you guys are getting a lot of deals done, but I think just in general, deals are harder to come by. And, your ability to pivot and flex and be creative is who we've been seeing have the most success, especially throughout this year. So
we've heard very similar stories. They're like, hey, multifamily in their whatever area they're looking at, maybe very well bid or overbid right now. So they said, you know what, we're doing some new development and, have some other. I had a guy yesterday tell me about the porta potty business.
Oh, geez.
Which is a great business, by the way. He gave me the numbers and it was similar to yours. It was like, oh yeah, we buy a porta potty for, $1,000 and it's $125 a day.
Oh my gosh.
That's a winner, right? What a great house.
No better time to pick up businesses than now. All those that are failing, you're catching them right before the upswing.
That's right.
Turns
John,
around.
I don't know how you would explain that one to your investor database. Yeah, we're in the porta potty business. I'll let you take on that one, okay? Yeah, I'll let you take on that project.
That's awesome.
Well, Erin, this has been a great conversation. Really, really fun time. I always enjoy speaking with you. And unfortunately, I think we're kind of getting near the end of our time here. But before we wrap up, we have 4 questions that we like to ask each guest. And then we'll kind of wrap up from there. But first and foremost, you mentioned already, you've been a part of coaching programs. It sounds like you're a student of the space. Tell us what you like to do for your continued education to further your investing.
Oh, that's such a great question. Listen, my heart is really about giving back, right? It's helping people get what they want, and naturally, we will get what we want. I just went to a mindset multifamily, which is with Tyler Devereaux and Ryan Woolley, and they are doing some big things right now. And I actually went to their event, and they had me come up and speak to their individuals that they had at their event. And it was so awe-inspiring to be able to pour into other people and to just let them know that, look, I've been in your seat, right? What if I could just give you a couple little nuggets that will help speed up that learning curve, right? And to see the excitement that they have on their faces for the information that's shared to help them to properly pivot was mind-blowing, right? And then it's just a matter of taking time to talk to people on Zoom calls and just to encourage them and to pour back in, right? Because we're already going to get exactly what we need. The more we help other people without manipulation, game over. We've already won. So that would probably be my big thing, is really just going to events, staying plugged in, and inspiring other people that were in the same shoes I was in.
That's great. That's great. What have been some of the lasting lessons you've learned along your journey?
So, well, I already shared with you, make sure you partner with the right people. But what I will tell you is there are a million ways to skin a cat, and don't think so straight, right? So I'll just share with you, if you guys don't mind. Are we okay on time?
Oh yeah.
My first deal that I took down with Quatro was pretty stinking incredible. And the reason I'm going to share this is because I want your listeners to think in a different facet, right? And so basically what it was I had to bring $300,000 to the table in order to get 25% of the deal. We were taking it down as a joint venture with the four of us. And I had to bring $300,000 to the deal. It was just under $3 million. And I thought, shoot, I guess I'll pull some cash out of my properties that I own free and clear. And I went to bed one night and woke up in a panic. And all of a sudden I was like, babe, wake up. And I was trying to wake my husband up. And I'm like, he's like, can we talk about this tomorrow? Because I was like, I have an idea on structuring this deal to come in for 25%. He's like, babe, really? Tomorrow. It can wait. I couldn't go back to sleep because I was so excited. I woke up the next morning and I said on Facebook, how would you like to be the bank, make a great return, and have it backed by real estate? And I kid you not, I had 65 people that blew up on my comments and they said, tell me more, I'm interested. And they said, drop me an emoji or whatever. Within 24 hours, I got 3 people to give me $100,000 each. And the terms were 7% return, quarterly payout, 2-year minimum, 3-year max. And I literally had 3 people that each gave me $100,000. We had found a diamond in the rough that was making 12%. So if I paid 7%, y'all, it's the game of stinking arbitrage, right? So basically I was so thrilled because the deal was cool, but I love to negotiate. And guess what? We made a win for both parties. So I came into this deal, 25% ownership, not a dollar of my own money. We're going to add value, increase the rents. They were $100, $150 under market. 2 years, we'll refinance that, take the $300,000, pay them back. And again, I'll be in it with no money of my own in the deal. So the beautiful thing there, my first quarterly payout, I get a message from the gentleman and he says, thank you so much for this opportunity. I got my first payout. This is so much fun. The moral of the story is, do not beg for anyone's money.
Yeah.
Create an opportunity that makes them mind blown and wanting to know how they can get in as soon as possible. It was awesome.
Love it. Great example. I really appreciate that. And it goes back to your conversation earlier about, hey, being creative and problem solving, right? Yep. You needed capital. You went out and found a way to find it. And man, just absolutely love that. Great. So it leads me into my next question. What advice would you give to the listeners to help them further their business? You kind of already answered it, but.
I know, I feel like I've shared so much here. I would say really, I would go back to the partners. I would make sure that you find someone that has, listen, you guys, I wake up every morning and here are my thoughts. For one, I feel so beyond blessed to work with the partners that I work with because they have the greatest strengths that are my weaknesses so bad that I can't imagine if I didn't have them in my life, because they perform so beautifully. But I have a heart of gratitude. And guess what? When I tell them that, they're like, are you kidding? We're so thankful for you. But I don't even see it like that. I feel like I'm so incredibly blessed and so incredibly lucky that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, pinch me, is my life real? Right? That's the kind of relationship you want. And if you wake up every morning with the thought in your head, because I have a friend that says, why in the heck do you wake up at 5 a.m. every morning? And you know what I say back without sounding cocky? If you had the life I had, your ass would be up early too, because I'm going big places, right? That's right. Life is so much fun. There's opportunity everywhere. If you take action and you look, it's everywhere.
100%.
Boom.
100%.
Awesome.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Exactly right. Well, Erin, tell the listeners how they can learn more about you and get connected with you and Quatro Capital.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen, Quatro Capital, you're going to tune into www.thequatroway.com. And truth be told, you can always find me on Facebook, Erin Hudson, and message me. I'm always happy to get on a call. I would happily pour into you and help you with your learning curve and take it to the next level.
Awesome. Erin, you've been a phenomenal guest.
Yes.
Really, really appreciate the fantastic conversation and just look forward to staying connected with you and Quatro Capital. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
I can hardly wait to deal a deal with you guys. You guys are the real deal, and I like everything about you.
Oh,
Thank you.
we appreciate that. We're humbled by that. And we definitely look forward to doing the same. So
All right. Sounds good. On to bigger and better.
that's right.